Love of the Invisibles, How Ash Found Violet 3. Copyrighted 2015 by Nazeli Zelian. The hotel room door opened with a quick slide of the keycard. They both scanned the room. Hardwood floors, small sofa in the sitting area, TV set hanging on a wall, and one king-size bed. One bed, Violet thought, and Ash raised his brows and shoulders sheepishly. Really? Violet said. You couldn't ask for two? He just smiled. How come she couldn't read his thoughts at this time? Did he block it? She thought, and he smiled again. This was getting very frustrating. Violet went to examine the bathroom and ended up taking a shower after she removed her contacts. As she took a shower, she remembered that she left the brown bag with contacts in the car, the one sent by Dr. Ollender's staff. It didn't matter now, since the hotel staff did not know her before and her eyes were still dark violet. She still had time to get to their pastel color yet. Besides, Ash somehow could see them through the contacts. She took her sweet time in the shower. The warm water droplets soothed her tired body and calmed her mind. When she came out, Ash was not in the room, but there were a pair of dark blue pajamas on the bed. Silk, Violet thought. She removed the bathrobe that was provided by the hotel and slipped into pure comfort. Violet slipped into the bed and turned on the TV. There was the usual on the news, the happy, the sad, the crime, and the weather. She lowered the volume and slowly drifted into sleep, under the soft cover of the blanket. She woke up a while later to find herself alone in the hotel room. She slowly walked to the bathroom and back, slipped back into her side of the bed and tried to sleep, but thoughts circulated her mind that halted her senses to relax. So, this was why she was the strange kid of the block. This is why she kept to herself, because she somehow could guess that others thought or felt about her. She was yet to ask Ash about the color changes of her body, her eyes, and her hair. Ash, where was he? Last time she saw him was before she hopped into the shower, and now he had stepped out of the room. Violet opened the door to the corridor, stuck her head out, and looked left and right. Silence. Even the elevator's lights were not moving. What if he left me? Violet thought to herself. Shouldn't she be glad that she was left alone and that she could return to her old life? Violet's conscience raised the thought. Violet shook her head. Ash was not capable of that. And what was he capable of? What did Violet know about him, besides that she was extremely attracted to him despite of all common sense, and that she was traveling with a stranger to an unknown destination for an unknown time, and that her work was waiting for her in 3 days' time on Tuesday, and that no one knew of her whereabouts? If she was found missing, Ash will go to prison, and she will lose him. She can't lose Ash. Where is Ash? She should check to see if the car was still there. The window. She should check through the window. No, the car wasn't there. Ash, where are you? She tried to force a message out that she thought would reach Ash. I'm in the building, sweetheart. Go back to sleep, came the reply. Violet took a deep breath. He was here. The car is missing, she tried to warn him, once she looked out of the window into the parking lot. I moved the car, came the answer. I can get used to this, Violet thought. I didn't even need my phone. Are you coming up? Violet asked. Only if you want me to, she got his message. Don't be silly, Violet thought, turning around towards the bed. There's no answer. She approached the window once more and looked at the stars. They were so bright. The last time she remembered seeing the stars as bright as those was when she lived with Granny Miranda. She spent a lot of time in her second-floor bedroom wondering what's wrong with her and why she was different than other kids. She heard the swipe of the key card on the door lock, and Ash entered the room. The lights were dim, but she saw his eyes transformed from dark charcoal to a light gray, and now his irises were visibly medium gray, enveloped with lighter gray around and bordered around with darker gray. It resembled the eyes of the husky dogs, but shined much better on a man. She instinctively came closer, not taking her eyes away from his. Yes, now she was hypnotized, and he seemed so too, since he looked at hers, seeing her eyes free of cover for the first time. "Violet," he said in a low voice, holding arms with her, "you are beautiful." "Your eyes, they've changed," she murmured, slightly touching his temple. "I like them like this." Then there were no words and no thoughts. He took her lips as she took his, and an invisible force circulated through their body. This was all new for Violet, and she was overwhelmed at the amount of excitement and pleasure she took from this kiss. She felt what he felt for her. Somehow she could feel his energy with each cell of her body. Somehow she understood that they were meant to be together, they were made for each other, and that she would not want to be apart from him from this point on. He carried her to the bed and caressed her soft neck with his hands. She was the woman he was looking for a long time. He had heard of the draw and harmony between two perfectly matched souls, but he never knew how it felt. She did not resist to his caresses. His hand traveled down her neck and to the fullness of her breasts. He kissed her endlessly, letting go only when he gasped for air. "Ash," she thought. "Oh, Ash." Violet always imagined how it could be to be this close to a man, but she never dreamed to be wanted and to want so much, and how natural it will feel. No shame, no fear, just pure pleasure. Ash raised his senses and felt that subconsciously Violet raised hers too. "What is happening?" she asked to herself. "What is this pressure, this heat that wants to burst out of me?" Too much energy that accumulated for a lifetime, Ash thought, but did not allow Violet to read it. He kissed her eyelids, then her temple, then moved down her neck. She let out a moan, but did not move, as if afraid to lose this magic. He skillfully freed himself of his own clothes and moved lower towards her now unbuttoned silk pajama top, and moved it down to her shoulders. He removed what was left of her clothing, but Violet did not even feel it, because by now she was enveloped with a mixed cocktail of radiant energy that numbed her mind and conscience, leaving only her senses alert. She let go of her lifelong fear of not belonging or not being loved. She was free. Ash was consumed by her energy. He had an urge to touch and kiss every part of her body, which accelerated further by her response. She gave herself freely. She indulged his every touch, his every kiss. Although by now no sound came from her mouth, her mind was moaning and calling his name. He kept exploring every inch of her silken body and came to a halt between her legs. "A virgin," he said softly. He could feel that she had never been intimate with anyone before. There was no answer from the other side. She was still working her energy, drawing his out and mixing it with hers and enjoying the electric waves that were traveling the complete circuit between their intertwined bodies. When he couldn't wait any longer and penetrated her at last, she sent heat waves all the way through his head that sparked with energy unknown to him. She, in turn, received his energy that sent pleasure particles all over her body, and she lost herself to him. Ash also felt the electrified pleasure. There it was again, the rush of force, 100 times stronger than the one before, transmitted to him as he was inside her. They moved in unison, and with each thrust, more energy was sent through the circuit that formed through their body that was now one.